All right, let me just finish up my thoughts that I began earlier today on the subject of this good cop, bad cop stuff and how. Well, here's what I was really trying to get to before I got got off on the good cop, bad cop metaphor exit, and that is that these. I think what it boils down to is this: we should not expect the political class, the ruling class, to be normal and human in the way that we understand it. There will be no remorse from any of these people who have pushed for all of these deeply inhumane, uh, tyrannical, draconian um, measures over the last 2 years. There will be no mea culpa. There has been point me to one member of the political class, uh, one member of the media, one I don't know, someone anywhere. Point me to someone anywhere who said, "Look, I bel who would uh, who is now going to say, look, I believed in all this stuff before, but now I see that I was wrong, so I'm changing my mind, and we are uh, not going to impose these kinds of draconian, tyrannical, uh, deeply inhumane measures." Uh, and what's more, I am very sorry for all the damage that I've done to so many people. I'm sorry for the ways that I've hurt people. I'm sorry for forcing an experimental drug upon people who, many of whom take it and have terribly debilitating side effects, including death. I am sorry that I forced people to live in isolation and caused depression to spike among young people and suicide to spike among young people. Yeah. I'm sorry that that I've contributed to so much demoralization, to so much killing of the human spirit. I'm sorry that I've the actions that I have taken uh, have um, made our world into even more of a prison planet than it was previously, and that the grid has tightened and has tightened its grip, uh, and I'm partly responsible for that because I went along with it all, and I pushed it all, and I legislated it all, and I enforced it all, and so now I'm deeply, deeply sorry for all the damage I've done to so many people. Are you going to hear that from any of them? Have you heard that from any of them? No. No, because these are not people who feel remorse. And, I mean, why should we expect them to? They are the, the political class behaves in such a manner that is completely consistent. They have no shame. They they tell enormous lies and feel no no compunction about it. If you or I were to tell the kind of lies that they've been telling, if you or I were to were to behave like brazen demagogues, if you or I were to manipulate and misrepresent uh, our opponents the way that they habitually do, um, it would be. I mean, I'll just speak for myself. It's not. It's not the kind of life I would be able to live for more than more than like maybe 2 hours. I would have to say, I've had enough. I'm getting off this train. No more of this. But for them, it's just a constant. It's just it's just rock and roll. You know, it's just the way things are. And so now, you know, they want to change course and open things up and take away some of the mandates that they've been uh, screaming about in some places in the world. In my part of the world, in other places in the world, that's not the case. Don't get me wrong; it's still really bad in a lot of places. But in the part of the world where I'm living, things do seem to be opening up more, and that's good, and I applaud that. But here's the thing: whatever gave them the right to do what they did in the first place? By what authority uh, did they shut down the the world essentially for so long and keep it shut down in so many places? Shut down businesses, cause people to lose their livelihoods, contribute to the greatest transfer of wealth from the middle class and the working poor to the extremely rich and powerful. I mean, the greatest transfer of wealth that's been seen, uh, that has scarcely been seen before. Uh, how? Where does it ever say? Where does it say? I'll just stick with the U.S. Constitution. I'm not claiming to be a constitutional scholar. I don't know the document frontwards and backwards, but I do know that there's nothing in it that says we can make all of these guaranteed uh, rights and all of these guaranteed liberties in this document. We can just make it poof go away when we feel um, that it is appropriate for us to do so. And by us and by we, I mean the political class, the ruling class, those in charge. That's how they've behaved. They've behaved as though somehow what they've done hasn't been deeply unconstitutional. Um, you know, and again, tell me how I'm wrong. Point out to me where in the U.S. Constitution, anyway, there's anything that says, "Here's a loophole. Uh, you can, the the governing class can feel free to take away all of the sovereign rights otherwise guaranteed in this document, uh, if they deem it an emergency situation." Emergency powers, when you hear people talk about emergency powers, uh, when you hear in particular politicians and media parrots of politicians, mockingbird media types and others, when you hear them extolling uh, um, emergency powers and hawking uh, the premise of emergency powers, then ask them. The thing is, you can't ask your TV set. You can't ask your laptop or your iPhone when you're reading what some of these creatures are tweeting or what they're saying in press conferences or whatever. Uh, and even if you could, they wouldn't be interested in listening to you anyway. They're not interested in listening to you. You have nothing to do with this. You're just a lowly subject. You're just cattle on their farm. You're nothing but livestock. Um, but again, um, if it were somehow possible to say to get some of these people, and I use the word people loosely, if it were possible to get some of these people in a room and and just put it to them, just point blank, and say, how do you justify this constitutionally? How do you justify this in accord with the rule of law? How do you justify this without uh, making a brazenly unlawful and unconstitutional leap? I mean, I thought I heard something about how some government somewhere, maybe some legislative body somewhere, gave themselves permission to impose lockdowns again. I think it was maybe Scotland, like the legislature in Scotland. Uh, does it really work that way? I mean, is that how rights and freedoms work? Is that how legislation works? You vote to give yourself power that's not enumerated in the Constitution or the rule of law, but you can just vote to give yourself that power, and suddenly that power is yours. That's how that. Do you not see what an absurdity that is? You can't create something out of thin air and then claim it to be of substance, and then have your lackey media uh, types loudly proclaiming how right you are, and how anyone who stands up and questions you is an anti-vaxxer fanatic and a white supremacist and a conspiracy theorist, and all of this deeply dishonest rhetoric that we've heard, the barrage that's been going off nonstop for so long now, that even predates all of this mess. Anyway, that's the note I'm going to leave on. They're giving back to us in many cases what it was never legitimate for them to take from us in the first place. Should we tell them thank you for that? Hell no. Hell no. Should we forgive them for what they did? Hell no. Never forgive. Never forget. And that's the note I'm going to leave y'all with. Never forgive. Never forget. Don't just fall for this effort of theirs to manipulate you. That's what this is all about. I don't know if it's about the election this year. Maybe it is, or maybe there's some other reason for them doing it. But don't act like, it's like if somebody steals everything out of your house and then returns some of it back to your house. What do you say? You're going to tell the robber, thank you? Thank you for returning some of what you illegally took from me? No. No. You don't say that. You don't say that because he was wrong to take it in the first place. Never forgive. Never forget. Thanks for watching.